What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. This is going to be a little short series that I'm going to be posting on that engine right there. It's a 02 YZ426F. Just had a customer drop it off. We're just going to tear it apart, replace the crank, replace the main bearings, slap it back together and give it back to him. So I hope you enjoy it. This is going to be super short, maybe 1 or 2 series, and that's pretty much it. Let's dive in. The crank is out, and just inspecting the cases here. Luckily there's no damage anywhere from that seized crank, so I'm wondering if it was deprived of oil or just the bearing itself started failing and it just seized. So thankfully the bearing didn't really fall apart much, or the connecting rod didn't explode. Otherwise all these little pieces here, they would be all damaged. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the rest of the transmission out, and we're going to take this main bearing out, this main bearing, and pop the new bearings into the freezer and remove the transmission here, clean everything up, and make sure we clean up this the oil pump here so that there's no shavings inside. And yeah, put everything back together, put the new bearings in, put the new crank in, put the transmission in, get some silicone, some gasket maker on these halves, and put it back together. Now that we have that removed, I noticed there's a few things that fell out. Looks like a little spring and this little dowel. So the dowel goes here in the center. The spring, I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to look around and see where that goes, but we'll figure out where that goes later. We'll have to look at some diagrams. As you can see here, there's some metal shavings in there, so it's a good idea to get this thing all cleaned up before we put it back. And just like that, everything is out. Got those main bearings out with some heat. a little bit of hammer action, and yeah, doesn't look too bad. It looks pretty good. We're ready to clean everything up. There's some metal shavings in the bottom here, but I was just looking around the bearings here. They're all really smooth. The main bearings were definitely a little, you know, not good to reuse, so it's a good thing we are replacing those. But yeah, I haven't rebuilt Yamahas in a while, and I forgot that they use these what are they, torque spits on all these retainers on all the bearings. So, and I did have this impact, but I only have just like a regular Phillips and flathead, so I had to be very careful with this one. And you know, with some heat, thankfully, these only had blue Loctite on there, which I'm surprised. I thought they would have red, but some of that blue Loctite loosened up, and really carefully and with some really good pressure, I was able to get those retainers off. So yeah, so now we can clean everything up, put the bearings back in, put a new crank in, and seal it up. Okay, now that the cases are all ready to go, we got them cleaned up. I cleaned up the mating surfaces so that they're all clean, free of the old gasket. Just use a Scotch-Brite pad on these surfaces, very lightly, no pressure really, and use some simple green on the inside here. I tried to avoid spraying directly into the bearings, but of course we probably got some in there, and use some brake cleaner to clean it all out, wipe everything down, glue everything out so that there is no debris. And yeah, now we're ready to install the main bearings. Put oil or assembly lube into all the rest of the bearings that are in here. Put some silicone or some gasket maker on the surfaces and press everything back together. Okay, so the spring that I found earlier that fell out of the case, we didn't really know where it went to. I looked it up. It goes right into the shift drum, so we didn't lose it, and we put it back, so we know we're good. that's a wrap for this video. Just like I mentioned before, it was just a short little video. We cracked the case open, got the old crank out, sent it out to Millennium Technologies. A couple days later, got it back with the new rod on there, replaced the bearings, put the new crank in, and slapped the case together. This is the way the customer brought the engine, so it's not really complete, but like I said, this is just a short video on this 2000, this is actually a 2000 YZ426F. But yeah, so that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.